Hello, and welcome to another Between Sets with Church. Today's guest is a rather eclectic rock group from the Innisfil-Alcona area. Their sound matches their name, rather different and unique. Today's guest, An Ostrich's Hypotheses.
And I know about you. Yes, I know just what you do.
We are here in the heart of Alcona with their very own An Ostrich's Hypotheses. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Good to see you guys.
Good to see you.
So before we get into the heart of An Ostrich's Hypotheses, and I said it right that time, actually. Thanks, I believe it, yeah. Curry for me. Barrie, if you don't mind, just give me a little bit of history before we get into the rest of the guys that came in, but a little bit of your history with rock and roll before
Yeah, so I don't know, I started in high school playing around Barrie in a band called Coprolites. It was a 5-piece prog metal weirdness, and then I moved to London for a few years and I played a bunch of different punk bands, metal bands. all kinds of different stuff. Did some small scale touring, but nothing huge, you know. I think maybe the best known band I was in was called Dirty Deluxe, and we just played a ton of shows around London for a little while. Yeah, I really liked that band. It was female fronted, and we got into a lot of like weird covers from like 80s hair metal to like whatever. Since then, you know, more recently, we've been playing for about 6 years with these guys. Greg and I started jamming after we met at Pet Value one day, and then Jesse picked up the bass, and it's been about 6 years for the four of us, and Daryl joined about 2 years after that.
Yeah. Now, you guys had something going prior to this, though, didn't you? I believe.
Yeah. Daryl and I have been playing together for like since grade 7.
Around there.
Grade 7, probably. Yeah. Just.
So like 6
Up to
years,
being rock
7 years.
Yeah.
Just a few years, yeah.
Just a few.
And then, a bunch of bands together. We just kind of evolved together
Nice.
over the last 20 years.
Yeah. And Jesse was like a roadie for them in their first band back in high school.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool
That's
story.
right. Yeah.
Just the muscle when they were a band, so...
That's probably a whole different show altogether on those stars, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I didn't start playing bass till I was in my 20s, but then these guys were nice enough to let me play with them, so...
Cool. With the songwriting, because I've been listening to you guys, obviously, and there's I love the diversity, and you even said in I think in your bio, it ranges everything from Tool to it was all over the map, which I loved, and listening to you guys, you can definitely hear that. When you guys write, do you write working around the instruments? Because you got a lot of keys that are involved, which you don't see in a lot of bands, right? And you guys switch instruments quite a bit from what I
definitely.
understand, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Do you write working around the instruments? You know, I mean, we kind of talked about that earlier, or do you kind of work around a guitar riff and then kind of go from there?
Well, I think it just depends on each song. We all come with, you know, different riffs and things like that. Historically, it's been mostly based around a guitar riff, but some of it, a lot of the songs that I write, I start writing on bass because I just feel more comfortable. I'm a percussionist originally, and so I feel a little bit more comfortable on a bass guitar for writing and like working out the structure. But usually we come with a very bare bones skeleton, and it sort of morphs as soon as we get in here. And you know, I've never shown up with a song and had a good idea of what it was going to sound like, because it always ends up taking a really hard left right off the bat, and yeah, it sounds totally different. Yeah, but always better, I think. Right? It's always something outside of what I personally could have come up with in my head, because these guys have such different backgrounds when it comes to music. You know, Ray's a ambient guy, and Daryl's, you know, hard into like some deep metal like ISIS and stuff like that. You know, so. Yeah.
Well, you definitely hear it, like I said, with all that song. Now with that too, is it easy to incorporate all those different sounds when you're? Is it a community project?
I think it is. I think it is pretty easy. Yeah. Because like we'll start off with an idea, and we kind of just pile stuff on until it works, but none of it ever really doesn't. At least not so far. Right.
I've definitely had things though where like I had an idea about like how a song was gonna go, and I had like a guitar part for this certain section, and then I hear like a recording back, or I play with the song, and I've definitely scrapped a few things like that. But I think for the better, right? I often joke that the more we play together, the less I play on guitar, and we sound better the less I play. But it's actually true, you know. I for a lot of years I played a lot of acoustic stuff by myself and whatever, so I was used to having to fill out the sound by myself. The more we progress, the more cohesive our sound becomes, I think, because we write each song, like, you know, the first couple of songs I kind of wrote and brought to the band. And then as time went on, like our song Wait was maybe the first one that we really collaborated with. Daryl and I stood in front of a recording and just played it over for like 6 hours straight to hash out those guitar parts.
My head was mush.
Yeah.
Drive home. Yeah.
Your hands are so happy.
I'm so happy.
But yeah, we spent like 6 hours one day just working on those guitar parts, going over and over and over it, and we came away with something much more cohesive and much different than I ever would have expected. I thought it was just going to be a straight ahead chug thing all the way through, but it ended up our guitars very rarely go to that part even, so.
You know I used to have soul. much less demanding. Be patient. Be patient with me. At one time I was safe. Now I'm so happy that I'm not. I've got no need for a savior. I've no fear of being caught. And in my darkest hour, I will never lose the light. I could sail across the ocean and will always be inside. Wait, be patient. Be patient with me. Be patient. Be patient with yourself.
I think as we write, each song becomes more cohesive. We have a song called All I Do Is Dance that we all just like. The premise of the song is that all I do now is dance and what I used to do, and we just wrote like a million things and threw it into a hat and like just pulled it out and we just sing it in whatever order. And
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. So we've definitely become more and more cohesive, and the more cohesive we get, the better I think our songs get. The newest stuff is always the best stuff for me.
Yeah, cool. We talked earlier too about about the covers that you guys choose, because I noticed when I was Googling and going on Facebook and looking at some of your videos, I'm going, why? Why would you do that? I don't know how or why, but how did you pick that song as a cover? Yeah. It's how to explain that.
Well, I think early on, when we first started jamming or whatever, we were kind of trying to find things that were easy for us to work on together.
Yep.
And I think it was actually Betamax was a song by Astronautilus.
Big Black Delta.
Big Black Delta, yeah. That was one of the first ones that Ray was like, he didn't even say he wanted to cover it. He was just like, oh, check this song out. Maybe sort of to steer us toward a sound a little bit. And I was like, we have to do that song right away. And it's such a weird, like, obscure synth pop kind of song. And man, it really shaped our sound a lot. It was, Greg often jokes that that's when he's realized he had to start following Jesse because my timing sucks. So
That's why I play bass and not guitar.
yeah,
Someone's got to keep that rhythm pounding away.
Between Greg and I, we're good.
exactly. And I think it was like a kind of a eureka moment for us when we played that song, because it was like, we had talked about doing a lot of covers that people would know, and that's sort of the thing to do as a band, is to play covers that people know, so you get that crowd response. But we were like, that's not what we want to do. We don't want to go for crowd response necessarily. We want to go for what's fun to us, and we want to take something that's really weird and out there that most people might not be able to get into, and present it in a way that my mom could get into it, or that anybody could understand what we see in that song. So we try and translate to some extent.
Yeah, well, you definitely hear that some of your songs. I mean, as I was saying earlier, there's such a wide diversity with the sound. I think it's awesome that you guys can pull that off.
Yeah.
What challenges would you say what is the biggest challenge you face these days as a group, trying to proceed, trying to get your name out there?
Well, the music industry has changed so much in the last 10, 15, 20 years that we've been playing. Like when we started out, it was like posters on the beams, and
Now it's all
hand drawing the posters and photocopying them at the library or whatever, right? And all that stuff.
Social media, and we're all really bad at social media.
Yeah, we're bad at social media.
Well, that was my next question, actually.
Yeah.
Who's the
Bad
master
at
of command with the marketing kind of?
Should be this guy.
Yeah.
Should be.
Well, you do a good job. You have YouTube.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I
think not unlike our music, we all kind of share duties to some extent. I think I'm bad for creating the content, for shooting videos or shooting pictures or things like that, but I'm pretty good for getting it on there if somebody else does that. When it comes to design work and logo work, it's mostly been Ray and I that we've used the stuff for. I think I did the outside design on our EP, and Ray did the inside design. We're lucky enough, Greg and Ray are, pretty well-trained music engineers too, so we can create most of our own content. And we're like, I think all of us do a little bit of visual art as well as the music stuff too. So, when we get around to it, when we can actually light a bit of a fire under ourselves, we do actually create a lot of interesting stuff, I think, and I actually tend to like more what Ray creates as far as our visual stuff than what I do, so is what it is, but yeah.
Cool. You guys got quite a system here. You got a wicked jam session or place here to record and rehearse, and
it's really nice.
Yeah. So we were talking earlier about the fact that you guys can also record as well as you go along. And how do you find that as an asset to be able to? I guess it's kind of like rewind watching a hockey team or something, right?
Yeah.
Learn from your mistakes.
Yeah. I think it's a blessing and a curse a little bit.
Oh yeah, definitely. We get we can do anything that we choose to do with our recording setup, but then it's kind of like that. Maybe not the fear of the blank page, but like option paralysis. Sometimes there's almost too much to do, and you've just got to sit back and kind of like put it in line and decide where you want to hit first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And how many times we're like, we'll record this. We record everything, and we do nothing with it.
Yeah. Because then we have all this content that we created. It's like, we gotta sift through it and figure out what we like, what we don't like.
You might have a Bohemian Rhapsody sitting there waiting. You never know.
Yeah, it could be.
You never know.
Recorded it.
And I probably deleted it too. I get on there and I'm like sifting through things, and at first I'm like listening to every track and checking to make sure that there isn't some hidden gem that I've lost, and then I hit a certain point in the night and I'm like, delete that file and that file and that file.
And then
Oh,
6
I deleted
months later,
everything.
We're like,
Whoops.
oh, what happened to that one time? That was really good. Oh yeah, it's gone.
No, it's gone.
coming up with the band? What's coming down the pipe? Is there any shows?
We're playing for my birthday at the Fox Lounge.
Nice,
Friday,
nice.
February 28th.
Nice.
And then the following Wednesday, we play these adult art nights at Pushing Ink. They do
Yeah, I
them the
saw
first
that. That's kind of a
Wednesday
neat,
every month.
a
They're
neat
so cool. We
concept.
love to
Yeah.
play there.
And it sounds great in there. It's an old church
Yeah,
right up at the
yeah,
corner of
yeah.
Essa and Mapleview there.
Yeah, I know
so,
Ian is a friend
Yeah.
of mine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everyone
that's
who
awesome.
works there is just awesome people.
Yeah,
so
we
look
love to
forward
play
that,
in there.
so.
Yeah.
And we're working on recording as well. We've got 70% of our album written, and I'm hoping to get it out by the end of the year.
That would be good. Yeah.
That's the plan. But
Yeah.
there's you always get sidetracked and whatever. But our plan actually in the immediate future, we've got one thing to record to release that we're going to release in the near future. I think we're going to try and put something out for Valentine's Day, and then it's on to writing the last 3 songs for the album. And,
Nice,
We've got skeletons for those.
Yeah. What's the release set date for that? Any? No, nothing set in stone.
We shouldn't
Play it
set a
safe.
date.
Play it safe.
Probably 2020.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We set a hard date for our EP and missed it by 2 days. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, guys. I greatly appreciate this. It's been a fun time, and greatly appreciate the music, the tunes, and be able to sit down and chat. It's been
Thanks
awesome.
so much for coming
Thank you.
out.
Thank you very much. Take care, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.